And we are live. Christy Maga, you there?
I am here in Nino, America. How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve, sis. Thank you for asking. We got a somber little live here, y'all. Just want to get some info out there about the Kerr County flood catastrophe. Basically, what it is. It's pretty crazy. Just get some info about it. Get some updates. I told the Facebook group or page of mine, the Awesome Patriots, that if they have any info, sis, that we will keep an eye on the chat, sis, and we will speak about it. Any kind of benefits or something that might help the people in the area. Right now, I think we're going to have updates. It's raining over there still. I think Hunt, Texas said to get out of the area. It's near the Guadalupe River. But anyways, the point is we do have some updates. And if you have anything you want to share with us, ladies and gentlemen, put it on the comments of this live, even if it's later, because we can still look at it, look back to it, update it, post it, clip it, put it somewhere if we need to. But sis, your thoughts on it, if you want to give a quick introduction of what happened. I mean, this is 65 miles near San Antonio, Kerr County. It's Curfew, I believe, also. But the big issue that really happened was I had barely found out. It's a Christian camp. A lot of young girls passed, sadly, but that's kind of the first thing that I had noticed about it that was happening. But if you want to give a quick intro, Christy, and real quick, y'all, Christy Maga has experience even dealing with FEMA. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We're not trying to do blame games like everybody else, but we will touch on certain topics of even people that are, using this as a political ploy and blaming Trump, like
Mhm.
like always. But Chrissy's already dealt with FEMA, and you are not very pleased with them, correct, sis? But we'll
I
leave
was
it.
not. I was not happy with them or the Satanist or Biden.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just all I need to say about that for right now. But we'll get into it.
Okay. All right, Chrissy, give an introduction as to the whole situation with Kerr County, Texas.
So it says that on July 4th that the Llano River swelled with floodwater in Llano County, Texas, as heavy rain and deadly flooding hit the state's hill country area. All kinds of videos have time lapses. The one that struck me the most is the time lapse that shows how fast the Guadalupe River rose. It rose 26 feet in 45 minutes. That is unheard of. Like, I'm used to living in Kentucky and having some flooding, because we're right on the Ohio River, things like that. But I have never heard of 26 feet of rising in that amount of time. We would have small floods that would like flood out some of the bottom plains, the fields, and things like that. But I just never have heard of anything rising that fast. So then, you start really just watching the news and you keep seeing the numbers of the victims going up and up and up. And the latest was just updated about 7 minutes ago that so far it's 81 people. Unfortunately, one of those people was the Mystic Impact Christian camp director. He went out to try to save some of the girls. I'm getting ready to lose it. Some of the girls from the camp. Um, and it is just, I feel so sad for everybody, Nino. I watched an interview that the owner of this RV park talked about watching the RVs just get swept away into these waters. They said it was pitch black. They could hear people screaming, "Help me, help me." They could hear cars going through the water, honking the horn, yelling help. But it was so dark, pitch black, and the water was moving so fast that nobody could help. And the more you read, the more upset you just become about it. And something just happened in the area that I'm living in now. Another 3 feet of interstate got washed away by a mudslide, and yeah, it's just a lot, Nino. It's just a whole lot.
And Of course, and I'm gonna say this, but I never apologize for our content, y'all. But this is a very serious matter. Our prayers and condolences and our thoughts really are for the victims, the whole area. You know, the
Absolutely.
whole. I ain't gonna lie, it put a real big dampen on the Fourth of July celebrations we had because I was thinking about it, and then it happened on the day of Fourth of July, like early. And the thing is, when these things happen, I want to say this: you really don't really realize the magnitude of this, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Until the videos start coming out or it hits, because even me, I'm posting some updates here and there, and they don't get a lot of traction or a lot of likes. You know, information, warnings, or alerts. People, I don't know what it is, sis. They really kind of don't pay attention. But when they see a video of a house, going down, a street or something
A
crazy,
river, right? Yeah.
that's when they pay attention. But I'll say this, that the Fourth of July situation, we celebrated it. This began that day, and I'm just talking to my wife about it. These last couple of days, it's very sad to hear. I'm just grateful that we're here in West Texas. We got a lot of rain. San Angelo got flooded. We got flooded in Midland. It's just something that you really don't. It don't hit you as far as the impact until you see like the after effects, the aftermath of it, and then you
Mhm.
start realizing, piecing it together. Now, of course, we're trying to blame people. It's getting political. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of going back and forth with certain people on platforms, especially on Instagram. Just a bunch of America haters, Trump haters, people that are blaming the Trump administration. But y'all, this is a flash flood event. I think it says right here that it rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and,
That's what I'm saying.
and
It's
man,
unheard of.
I went in. I'm gonna play the clip here in a minute of the time lapse you sent me off of NPR. It's a pretty good website, and even we got some CNN clips, y'all. I mean, we're not gonna be political, or we're not gonna be biased with if they got good reporting. Let's just keep it real. And we also got the woman that made a horrible statement. We're gonna be on her case tomorrow. Me and Christy. I digress, but the point is, flash flood. This stuff happens so quick, right? And
Yeah.
I went and I filmed. There's a spot on 307 in Midland that always gets flooded, and I went through there with my 18 wheeler on my last day working. I forgot what day it was. The day before Fourth of July or Fourth of July. It was the day of Fourth of July, I believe. Right. Anyways, but I went to or the day before. Sorry, y'all. I don't want to misquote myself. But I went through this spot where there's a bridge and 307. It always floods, right? But I went through my 18 wheeler, went and unloaded my load. An hour and a half later, probably an hour, I come back in my car because this other part was flooded by Waterburger. I didn't want to get stuck there. My little car, my little low to the ground car. So I go around where I went with my semi truck, and it was freaking flooded. And I filmed it. It got like 60,000 views, and it was just a regular flash flood situation that happens there all the time. But I recorded it. Somebody was stuck there in a car, and I'd say this: when this stuff happens, y'all, it happens within minutes. You don't even. That's why it's called a flash flood. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm in Midland, Texas, the desert. When it rains, it's horrendous, but these kind of things it don't really snap to us like a flash flood because we're in Texas, but this stuff does come at you all at once. And when it rains, it pours sometimes. But like I said, it happens so quick that you don't even really think about it, right? And there's even reports about the warning that they did have the correct amount of people working the stations, that there was correct warning. But I think this happened. I want to say maybe 1:30 in the morning. It happened at the camp. I might be wrong. I don't. It's not. I'm not for sure about that. But I'm saying once this stuff starts happening, y'all, you really don't have a lot of time to react. And then I think sometimes, I'm not saying them, but us as in general, we get complacent when we get warnings or whatever, y'all. We kind of think like, hey, it's not gonna happen to me, whatever. I would hope in this whole situation, y'all, we do learn to look at things, with the wiser way of thinking about it, right, and taking heed to these warnings. Well, I'm gonna be honest. This stuff is kind of weird, but we'll talk about that in a minute about other situations here. But I just want to make a point. When the stuff happens like this, I seen it in person. This little place on 307 going towards Vander Ranch, says going to Greenwood. That little spot, it flooded within probably 30 minutes, and I come back and it's just freaking big old massive flood. It happens so quick. It says right here that the region is known as Flash Flood Alley. It's prone to rapid flooding due to its
Yeah.
hilly terrain and soil that doesn't absorb water well. So it's just basically a recipe for something like this to happen. It's a very sad situation, and our thoughts and prayers are to the people out there. And thank you to all the patriots. And there's some great people from Midland, from all over the United States, really, but in Texas primarily, that are going and giving time, donations. They're helping out. Jenny McComb, I posted her. I'll show in a minute. She's opening up her inn to people that are displaced. A lot of people are going out there to help our fellow citizens out there in Kerr County. And of course, flash flood, horrendous, sad situation. Go ahead, sis. Sorry.
No, the one thing that I wanted to say is that anybody that brings political things into this in the middle of a disaster is just not even in the right mindset anyway. Whenever all of this happened in North Carolina, it was I can't remember if it's 191 or 193 people that died. And, you got convoys that were turned away that were stacked full of generators, and they were threatened arrest if they gave those generators out to people. And everybody wanted to just put the blame on um, Biden for that because he got them no help. He got them no help.
What
But that was weeks later. That wasn't right as
I was gonna say though,
all
sis, let's be honest. The way Biden handled things, this ain't even to be political. I mean, the guy wasn't even around, and we're
we
not
weren't
trying to
in
make this a
charge,
political video
right?
at all. But everybody knows we're Christians, we're Trumpers. But I'm gonna be honest, the way Biden handled or his handlers handled situations, it was pretty horrendous. And Chrissy was there, living in Florida when it happened under his watch, and it was bad to say the least. But we don't want to make it political. But then again, we're not going to apologize for even inserting some of the political stuff that we dealt with because we know what it is to be neglected by somebody. And Christy's firsthand experience has that. Go ahead, sis. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's the truth because whenever we were hit with the hurricane category 4 that hit us head on for 12 hours, wind gust up to 100 and 151, and to see the mass devastation afterwards. And I will never, as long as I live, forget that I was so blessed that the corporation that I worked for, the CEO, let me come stay at his mansion that was right next door to Sylvester Stallone, and then he ended up renting me a Airbnb for 30 days until things at my house, like the front door that we didn't have anymore, and all of that stuff could be fixed. But whenever you saw DeSantis and Biden standing up there together and shaking hands and looking at the camera, promising that no Floridian would be forgotten, they are absolute liars. We were forgotten in every sense. 13 days without power, all of the food in your refrigerator and freezer absolutely ruined because you couldn't get gas to keep it running. And FEMA, who was supposed to give $750 to each family member, we did not receive one penny of any,
Yeah.
any,
You never got paid, right? I never got nothing, correct?
nothing,
I mean,
nothing.
everybody knows that. Everybody that follows us knows this story. We've talked about it before, but of course, we're focusing on Texas. But Chrissy's kind of dealt with it because people are starting saying, "Where's FEMA and all this?" I don't know. I really don't have no faith in FEMA, y'all. And I ain't trying to,
I don't either.
I mean, I've seen it, and Christy already has lived it. I'm playing the time lapse right now, Christy, and it's freaking crazy. And someone made a
I
good
know.
point. There's some good comments in here, sis. If you can catch them, check them out. Shout out my brother Rich in Christ. Jesse Lopez is in there. Shout out Corpus Christi. He says, Mary Lopez says, when Harvey hit Houston, we didn't expect it to rain that much. According to the weather reports, it was supposed to pass over us, but Harvey decided to stick around. And let's be honest, y'all, even with reports, I have a four-time Emmy Award-winning meteorologist. He made an actual post on X, and I posted it because, of course, they're trying to blame Trump. If someone's responsible, we're going to put the responsibility where it lay. But guys, people are blaming Trump like he sent a flood or something. Like, what the hell? This is like crazy. This stuff happens so quick. But again, this meteorologist said that the way the reporting was done, the way the warnings went out there, it was just, I mean, it can't get no more better than the warnings. But again, these are natural occurrences. You don't always just get it right. I mean, they could flip, turn, do whatever. And the thing is, this is something that's, that happens. That's why it's an emergency situation because it happens like this, y'all. But again, I think they did a good job warning people. I'm going to be honest, like I said, sometimes we don't take heed to warnings. And, I'm kind of in a similar boat myself. You get an alert on your phone, who knows? But I got some more info about this camp. But go ahead, sis. Well, I'm actually playing the video here of this is Guadalupe, right?
Yeah.
The Llano
So,
River.
no, that's the law. Yeah, that's the Lano
It,
or
this
Lano,
thing,
however.
this
Yeah.
thing went. Now I start thinking about Lonesome Dove, sis. When they don't want to cross, they got to cross when it's
Yep.
low tide because if they try to cross, when it's like
Yep.
this, you ain't gonna make it, and this thing will just take you. This is pretty crazy. Go ahead.
I mean, water strong enough to take homes off of their foundations and float down a river and to topple RVs and move cars and trailers and all of that. I mean, it's just so sad. And I have to I so whenever everything happened in North Carolina, they had a lot of pictures of bodies that were found up in trees. I
Mm.
know that a couple have passed around for Texas, but that Governor Abbott said that that has not been officially verified yet. So I don't know, it's just so hard. But here's the thing that frustrates me so much is they knew. You can't tell me hurricanes are different. They can take a different path uh, in 2 hours. It can be a completely different path that they're going to take. Texas, this area knew that it was prone to this kind of flooding, and it said in there that it had been talked about to put in flood warning sirens, but then it was just dismissed. It was not ever talked about again. And had they done that, a lot of things would have been different. A whole lot of things with this would have been different.
Yeah, and it's always, in hindsight. It says right here, this is the actual info on it. It says the flash flood warning was at 1:14 a.m. and it was
Yeah.
particularly it's a dangerous situation warning at 4:03 a.m. on July 4th. So the flash flood warning came in at 1 in the morning, and that was from the National Weather Service. Despite warnings, the rapid river surge caught many off guard as forecasts underestimated the rainfall intensity. I mean, this stuff just happens out of the blue. You can't. No one. Well, I was gonna say, Christy, you can't control the weather. Man can't control the weather, but I think we've learned that maybe that might be a not an accurate statement. Correct. We'll talk about that in a minute. But says Kerr County lacked a local flood warning system. I think what you said due to cost concerns and taxpayer resistance. Oh, interesting. Raising questions about preparedness. That's from the New York Times. I'm giving you the actual reference here. Some criticized camp leadership and the local officials for not evacuating earlier. Although though officials noted the difficulty of evacuating at night with low water crossings. So again, this is kind of stuff we're kind of digging into right now, y'all. Again, I think it's raining over there right now, sis. What are the numbers currently? While we give an update before I get to the next segment, go ahead.
What
The
numbers?
numbers,
Which one?
because I know I saw it on Hunt, Texas. They're talking about being careful of being in Hunt because the Guadalupe is
I
flooding
think I
again.
think yeah, I think they said to expect another inch of rain like now and 2 to 3 inches, which people look at that and don't realize that doesn't sound like much, but whenever you're putting that on top of all that flooding, 4 inches, 5 inches of rain is a whole lot that can cause a whole lot of problems. And um, I will let you know that DeSantis signed a bill, and I'm not going to say the name of the bill, but that we wouldn't have any unneeded weather anymore. And so obviously somebody knows something that's going on to have that kind of legislation passed.
So, Christy, people are kind of saying this, and I don't want to talk too much about this. I don't want to be too conspiratorial, right? But they are saying, or people are raising alarms that this is very kind of unnatural. You've kind of caught that
Uh-huh.
drift, sis. Do you believe
Yep.
that? Just being don't I won't say don't be too conspiratorial, but you think that something like this could be natural, or you think that some people are saying? I think I saw David Harris say that this just does not look natural whatsoever. You catch my drift,
It
everybody?
doesn't to
Go ahead.
it doesn't to me either to see how fast that all this rain came in to see I can you don't understand how shocked I am by the 26 feet of a river rising 26 feet. Whenever I lived in Kentucky, and we would hear of, like, that the river was going to rise, that we needed to watch out for flooding. It was like it's going to crest at whatever, like maybe a few feet over whatever the flood line is. So you might get some crops that were flooded or whatever. But 26 feet, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And let me just say this: Hurricane Helene, who how does a hurricane come off? I remember during Hurricane Ike, I was living in Indiana, and we got some winds and a little bit of rain from that. But in North Carolina and Tennessee, for all those people to get flooded out like they did from a hurricane that came all the way from the Atlantic, hit all the way up. It's just unheard of. All of this is just unheard of, and I want to be able to speak the truth so bad, but at the same time I know that it could jeopardize, this account of yours and things like that. But I think people know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It not normal. It is just not normal.
Okay, and Tam Mo says here in Louisiana, we learn from Katrina, be able to sustain yourself and help others. Prayers. I totally agree. I'm gonna say something. I've said it before, and of course, it's a natural occurrence. I mean, this is a disaster. It's horrible. But I said it. I did a live the other day. I said, you know what? You never want to be the victim, right, Christy? Because and sometimes, let's be honest, you can't. I'm not talking to those that it's just you know you can't help it, right? But when we deal with missing women and children, right, Christy, they usually
Right.
become victims and they hardly get help, or you know what I'm saying. Sometimes they don't get the justice they deserve, or they get put on the back burner with the police, law enforcement. Not blaming them. I'm just saying that sometimes the stuff just slips through the cracks. It's always better if you possibly can. To not be in a victim situation. I'm not saying that it's always avoidable, but I said to say this: once you are handicapped in a certain way, it's very hard, to get out of certain situations. And that's why the last comment was correct. You got to be ready, y'all. You got to be ready. You got to be proactive and do all you can to, not get caught, in the dark, basically. And again, like I said, I'm not saying
Absolutely.
that it's not it can happen to anybody, but the point is, you just want to be always on the ball, head on a swivel, like Jesse Lopez says. That way, you don't, you can make the best chance at surviving in this life. And I'm talking
Yep.
about with everything included, not just this, everything in life. Sis, I'm always thinking when I go to a restaurant, anywhere I go, I'm always just thinking what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yes.
always like in the mindset of survival. Very
Yep.
simple.
You have to be.
Yeah, and I just want to get some quick information. Trump signed a major disaster declaration for Kerr County on July 6th, unlocking federal resources like FEMA and Coast Guard support. Texas Governor Greg Abbott declared a state of disaster for Kerr and 13 other counties, promising round-the-clock rescue efforts. The NFL, Dallas Cowboys, and Houston Texans donated 1.5 million for relief efforts.
That's
As
awesome.
NBC, local shelters, the First United Methodist Church in Kerrville, housed displaced residents, and Kerrville Pets Alive assisted with pet rescues. Animals were affected as well. A vigil was held at St. Clair Elementary in Houston for missing camper Greta Toronzo. Right here, my friend Jenny McCombs, she offered her inn here, the Full Moon Inn, for anybody that's displaced. I mean, she even helps with the J6ers. Awesome patriot here, and she opened up her inn
Awesome, Patriot.
for anybody that needs it. I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all, Texas, we are one of the states, and Texans are some of the most gracious, helpful people, sis. We love our fellow neighbor, no matter what color you are, no matter who you are, to be honest. And we do support our fellow Texans and American citizens and just people in general, humans. I mean, even illegals, they get benefits out here from, even illegals get helped by Texans and good Christians out here. That's just how caring we are. And, shout out to all those that are helping. I'm going to post some more info about places that are helping and people that are going out there. I saw somebody in Greenwood. They're heading out there with vans of stuff to help them. I think there's someone else that I saw. There's a lot of stuff we will be updating and posting, y'all, when we get the chance. And of course, our hearts and our prayers and our condolences and everything is just for this area. It's really affected, all of Texas. All eyes are on here, and it's a sad situation to say the least. But shout out Jenny McCombs and the Full Moon Inn for opening up their place free of charge. She even said for weeks, sis. Go ahead.
So I want to respond back to this Tam Mo
Yeah.
that said here in Louisiana we learned from Katrina. So I want to talk about the people that have been forgotten. The way that Louisiana, especially like the people that were, I will never forget people on roofs and like people that had the big red X's on their door and all of that. People literally fighting for survival and just to be forgotten. The same thing with the North Carolina people. What I can say is, the way that you take care of your community is the way that everybody should take care of their community. Because I will tell you right now, after the hurricane, we did not get FEMA assistance. If it would not have been for the church, the night that it happened and it was finally fine for us to go out, it was like walking, it was literally like driving through something from The Walking Dead. You just think of your city and not a light anywhere, not a stoplight, not a street sign, not anything. And you are driving down Tamiami Trail and you see a line of people, and it's where two food trucks, one was
I remember that.
a Mexican family, and the other, I believe, was a Caribbean family, opened up their food trucks to cook food for anybody that had not. We lived it for 12 hours. The same thing for, Louisiana. The community had to help. Don't ever rely on anybody from the federal level to help. Always stay active in your community, know people, know how you can help them, and that makes such the difference. It's all about local community.
I totally agree. And right here, I want to highlight this. Is the guy I was talking about earlier, y'all. Avery Tomasco. He just made this post, y'all, and people are saying, "Damn, he's in Austin and whatever." But I say, you know what? I like people like this. They do their job, and they could put a political message if they want. Thank God, I looked at his account. He's not crazy with the politics. He said that the National Weather Service did a good job. He made this tweet. This was on the 4th. He actually reported this. This is a Emmy award-winning meteorologist, for all that matters. I'm not too sure, but he's pretty good on X. I've seen this post, and he's saying that they did a good job as far as, raising the alarm, because many people, let's be honest, they are blaming, the National Weather Service, saying they weren't manned enough and all this. That's not true. We even have screenshots and postings of them having extra people on duty. Again, they rang the alarm. Even this guy's giving them credit and kudos. I mean, let's be honest, y'all. Let's call a spade, and if it's real news, let's report it. If it's fake news, let's debunk it. Simple and plain. I also want to say this. We'll continue this while I pull this next article up.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is that we were put on a curfew. Every night, that you weren't allowed to be out unless you were a essential employee, and that you had to get to a hospital or someplace like that. The hospital is completely flooded, and unfortunately, it was on where the flooding started was on one of the, I think it was the 3rd floor, and that was where the intensive care patients were. So trying to get like all of them moved and things like that. But yeah, we were on curfews and things like that. And what really, I don't even know if we've spoken about this yet, Nino, but one of the things that really hit me so hard about the story of the Mystic camp is that the director went out and was looking for the girls, and he passed away. They found
I'll
his
get to that.
body.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
but before we get there, I just want to show right here, the Weather Service had extra staffers. This is, I posted this today, 8 hours ago, 6 hours ago. There it is. They had extra staffers on deck, because people are using this lie, saying that they were not staffed correctly and blase, and of course trying to blame our president for, a flash flood. And I'll tell you what, though, I'm glad with the response by Abbott and even Trump. I mean, I think this right here is really, they've done a good job with the response, I'll be honest. But anyways, I just wanted to show that, Christy. I'm going to pull up the actual director that has passed. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's just I just think of these little girls and how scared they must have been. But I will tell you, so just on a positive note, and I have it right here. Let me get it pulled up. But it literally says that there was a reported miracle, a rescue of 2 girls clinging to a tree in Texas. Oh, never mind. It says it was a false account.
Oh, So which one
Yeah.
was that one, sis? I wonder if it's the one I posted. Let's be honest, y'all. There are some stuff we're following the page called Texas Storm Chasers. Chasers. If you get a chance to follow it, they had a story they were covering, and they were saying they didn't know if it was actually accurate because I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of fake stories going around. I saw somebody share a story about Mexico sending people to help. I think that was not accurate. I don't think that's true. People are using political, opinions and
Mm-hmm.
agendas to push this stuff about Mexicans and Mexico helping. When if
Yep.
it's real, it's real. But if it's not, be very careful with the fake stories. Now, this one right here has been vetted. This is the one that was shared. I shared this yesterday, y'all. This one right here, a lot of people shared it, but this is the director. Uh, if I can open this up,
Makes me
this is the
sad.
man. Yeah, here he is, right here. This man right here is from the Eagle Pass newsletter. He went out there. What did he try to do? Save him? Actually, says what was the actual situation here?
Yeah, so he was going out to try to save the girls. I believe it said that 10 were missing. I'll have to look it up again because everything just keeps changing, like literally um by the minute. Like I was literally watching one thing live, and it went up to another death. And so like it's all the information is changing.
Well, I got one right here from Texas Storm Chaser, 7:40 p.m. Isolated storms with heavy rain continue across south central Texas. New flash flood warning for Canyon Lake, 2 New Braunfels, 2 Skirts. Widespread rain not likely overnight, but may see storms by Monday morning in Hill Country. This is crazy, y'all. So there it is, y'all. That's the Texas Storm Chasers. Very good page on Facebook if you get a chance to check them out. Dick Eastland, that's his name, correct? Let me make sure I got that right. Yes. So Easton, I got a quick summary of it, but I'll put the picture of him. Thank you, sir. God bless you in the name of Jesus. Amen. For your sacrifice. Camp director died while trying to rescue campers. His grandson described him as a mentor who sacrificed his life for others. I mean, men like this that run towards the firefight. Everybody. God bless him. I think the camp said, sis, that it had. Let me see here. I have
five
the
kids
numbers.
5 kids unalived and 11 missing.
The toll is across Central Texas reached at least 78 to 81. Additional fatalities in Travis, Burnett, Kendall, Tom Green, San Angelo, and Wilmington. And right here, the death total surpassed that of Hurricane Harvey in 2017, making it one of the deadliest flood events in Texas history. Camp Mystic, this is the information I wanted to give earlier, a nearly century-old Christian summer camp for girls along the Guadalupe River in Hunt, Texas, was severely hit. About 750 girls were at the camp during the
Yep.
flood.
Yep.
750, y'all. 10
Yep.
girls and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic remain missing as of July 6th. Okay, so there's only, I don't want to say only 10, but there's 10 missing. I mean, thank God, it's not more, but 10 girls and 1 counselor from Camp Mystic remain missing as of July 6th, 2025. I saw the National Guard. They had a whole truckload of girls, driving through a street.
What time does that say?
I don't know. It's from TPR. It's from CNN and TPR, but it says with initial estimates suggesting up to 27 children were unaccounted for. So they did say it was 27 at one point, but right now they're saying 10 girls and 1 counselor are missing from Camp Mystic. Some campers were swept away by floodwaters, while others were rescued by counselors and staff, including a night watchman who placed girls on mattresses to keep them safe. The camp lost power, water, and Wi-Fi, and a nearby highway was washed away, complicating rescue efforts. Can you believe it, sis? The road gets washed away. Golly, go ahead.
Yeah, 30. I mean, whenever all that happened to Tennessee and North Carolina, I think it was 35 miles of interstate just washed away, gone. And all I can say is that it truly, honestly, me living through that hurricane and seeing everything that happened, nothing prepared me for what I saw in North Carolina. You go over this bridge, and on one side it is gnarly, knotted, twisted trees that are just like blocking any water flow at all. On the other side is at least 12 feet of mud, and they have said that they don't know how many more bodies that they'll pull from the mud over all that flooding. But it just is so mind boggling that you know you you live in Florida, you know that you're living in a risk zone, that hurricanes can happen. You live in Kansas, Oklahoma. You live in a zone that
Yeah,
tornadoes can happen. And it just, the way that the weather has been, it just is
it's crazy.
not, it's not sensical at all.
So right here, rescue and recovery efforts. I got some pretty good data here, y'all, from different. These are from news sources, so take them with a grain of salt. But I don't think they're going to be lying to us. But anyways, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Over 400 first responders, including Texas Task Force 1 and 2, the National Guard, the U.S. Coast Guard, were deployed with 14 helicopters, 12 drones, and 9 rescue teams. By July
Yep.
4th, 237 people were rescued, 167 by helicopter. I saw some pictures. Search efforts expanded to San Saba and Burnett counties using thermal cameras and canine units. Golly, man, you know what? God bless the law enforcement and everybody out there, the rescue teams. God bless them. Amen. Search efforts expand. Reunification centers were set up, including one at Calvary Temple Church in Kerrville for non-camp missing members. I think they actually did a good job. Now that I dig more into it, and I'm actually seeing facts and news reporting on this, and there's actual articles that I'm pulling from. I'm not just making this up. They are trying to rescue people. They did rescue people, and Texans care, y'all, from the citizens
Yep.
to the law enforcement and the rescue, the people that are doing the rescue efforts, and even the canines, y'all. How amazing! I want to actually read a little bit about this guy, sis. I'm going to pull up this Mr. What's his name? I'm sorry. What's this guy's name? Mr.
I can't
Eastland's.
think of it.
I got it right here. I
I don't
got it
have
right
it
here.
pulled up.
Mr. Eastland's. I got like 3 phones open over here, y'all. I want to read some of his info. This was a pretty well written post here. It says Kerr County. Let me see here. He said they were trying to get away from the current. They were found alive several miles downriver in Hunt, Texas. Tragically, Eastland succumbed shortly after the rescue, leaving behind a legacy of selflessness and unwavering dedication to the camp he loved. There's still around 20 missing girls. I actually scrolled it earlier, y'all. There's a lot of pictures of this man with the community. Mr. Dick Eastland, we appreciate what you did. Again, God bless you, sir, and we do honor your memory, and we thank you for your selflessness during this tragic matter. This is pretty sad, sis, to say the least, but I would say at least he gave up his life doing something just and righteous, in my opinion, and pretty
Absolutely.
sad. Go ahead, sis. Sorry.
So I found an article also about the Camp Mystic girls, and it says that whenever some of them were being rescued, that the Camp Mystic girls were sobbing and singing campfire songs as they were evacuated from horrifying Texas flood.
Wow.
It said a Camp Mystic nurse captured these harrowing scenes as she and hundreds of other campers and staffers were evacuated from the devastated scene following Friday's catastrophic floods. She said that she had been working at the Christian summer camp when surging waters tore through the area, drowning at least 69 people and leaving 11 girls unaccounted for in Kerr County. I I keep seeing 11, but you said 10, so one might have been found. But it's just so much. And
I have a pic. Go
bless
ahead.
that man's heart. I mean,
Amen.
what
Amen.
it's a Christian church, and he went out to try to save the souls of the children.
And sis, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm like a macho man. You know me. But man, water does not play, y'all. Sometimes
No.
it's best to wear a life jacket, right? The game wardens out here don't play. They always want you to have one in the boat, but
Yep.
you
It's
can be a
law.
strong man, and that water current can take you and throw you. I just keep thinking about Lonesome Dove and the books I read about, when they were settling this great nation. I just keep reading about
Yep.
it, and just the storms, the flash flooding is pretty crazy. I have a picture right now of Kerrville, Texas. This is before and after the flood, y'all. This is from yesterday, too, I believe. So this is what it looks like, or it looked like yesterday. I mean, you can see right there, it's like flat ground. There's houses. I seen somebody in a trailer home or a home, and they're inside the home. The home's flooding away. I mean, horrendous situation here, y'all, but there is the flooding before and after. Now, we are going to get a little messy, okay? We gave the updates. Christian, I don't know if you have any other updates to give, but I'm going to warn everybody here. And let's be honest, y'all. The messy stuff is what gets views. The messy posts are what go viral. I share updates about the graph and just, updates here and there. And, it don't get that much traction. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Just putting the content out there. I'm going to be completely honest. But when you post the messy stuff, that's what people gravitate towards. And maybe this is how humans are wired, y'all, because like I said, we get warnings or whatever, and sometimes we don't heed these warnings until you see like videos of things happening, houses floating, people going viral for saying bad things. I digress. The point is, the negativity does thrive sometimes, and I know people are trying to be positive about this. We are being positive, but at the same time, we got to be true to ourselves, Christy. And we're going to dedicate part of our show to exposing some people. We're going to call tomorrow and do so. Christy, do you have any other updates you want to give before we go into the messy part of the section? If you don't want to watch this, y'all, you don't have to. Please, I don't want to say tune off, but we're going to get messy here. This is how me and Christy operate. We expose people. We put people on blast if they need to be put on there. And again, our condolences are to the area of Curfew. Shout out everybody that has given any effort or time or clothing and donations for this whole situation. Anything you need from us, let us know. Send it to us. We will post it. And our hearts and prayers are to the people of the whole, South Texas, this whole area where it's flooded at. Christy, any final words before we get into the messiness? Go ahead.
The only other thing that I can say is money doesn't help after a massive disaster.
See, I'm gonna be honest. That's why we hardly ever post any GoFundMe's or any kind of like money stuff, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. Oh, go ahead, sis, before we can get messy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, so I had quite a few people saying, Christy, have y'all set up a donation fund? And I was like, money is worthless here. Nothing's open.
Wow, sis, hold on. You said something mind blowing. Money is worthless here.
It was. It didn't matter what you had. Gas stations were leveled. Our Walmarts didn't open for 10 days, and it was like a mad rush in there. And we didn't even get power back for 13 days. So us going to Walmart would have been totally useless anyway. But for the first at least week to 10 days, money is absolutely worthless. There is nothing you can do with it. The things that you can do are the material things, the cases of water, toilet paper. People have no idea much hand sanitizer and baby wipes come in handy, and just keeping yourself clean, and things like that. So those are the types of things that matter. And I will say that the community pulled together greatly for us. We had it's called a McDonald's, rescue bus. I don't know what the name of it is, but it was a McDonald's that was literally on, like a food truck. And they offered food free for certain hours. We had a Tide truck that came and did the same thing, free laundry, washing machines, all of that for people that needed it. But money does not matter. And the only other thing I'm going to say is I never, ever say that I'm going to pray for somebody and don't do it. I think that we often say, I'm going to pray for you. And whenever we get done with whatever, the prayer has slipped our mind. So I have already prayed for these people, for the first responders, the survivors, the families. The thing that I read is that those camp kids, that parents were anxiously waiting on any word that they had. Could you imagine?
Sis, I'm going to be honest. We're going to start slipping into the messiness here in a minute, momentarily, y'all. But Christy, let's be honest. Like, when you're out there in a remote area, your phone probably don't work. You know what I'm saying? To get the info back and forth from there. So the people hating on my president, hating on the governor, and all this, and all these people. You know what? You just need to stop. You're playing games with people. This is a tragic situation, trying to bring your political slant into it. I'm going to be honest. From what I've seen, I think this was handled. There ain't no other better way to handle it, except maybe, of course, less lives lost. But this is what happens in tragedies, y'all. This got to be completely blunt and honest. People lose their lives. That's why it's called a tragedy. And for people to try to bring their politics into this, you know what? We are going to speak up, and we're gonna bust back, baby, over here. And we're gonna keep it respectful. But the way we operate our platform here, we don't play these games, and we like to go against the grain. We are controversial, and I'll leave it at that. But being out there at a camp and this happens, I think the warnings were given. Sometimes things happen. You don't get the message. I don't know. We don't live in a perfect world, and it really pisses me off, to be completely honest, seeing people just drag our people through the mud, even the victims. We're going to get to that in a minute. There's a lot of craziness going on with this whole situation. They're just I hate to say it, they're shitting on us, y'all.
It said,
Our haters are shitting on us Texans and even these poor kids and these innocent victims because we live in a red state. Let's keep it real all the way. But I want to read this post, sis, before I do get real messy. Go ahead. I want to read this baptism post. I'm sorry.
okay, I just wanted to say, this happened so fast and people can blame whoever they want to, but it said that numerous kids were sleeping just feet from the river that had started rising with the rushing water, and a camp counselor was able to get them away from it. And you can only do what you can do, and there is no blame for any of the counselors that couldn't do more, or the director that couldn't do more. Or I just, you can't blame them. You can absolutely can't blame them.
Okay, I'm gonna go and read this before we get into the messiness, y'all. This right here is from a man named, and somebody even gave me crap about this post. It's like whatever you post, you can never please people. But before we get really messy, we're gonna get messy. So y'all ain't gotta watch this messy part. But I'm gonna do this last part before we move on to the messiness. This is from Jason Burgess. He wrote this, and I believe he was in the thick of this stuff, and he went viral. It says, "I had planned to be calm, composed, and maybe even a little stoic. Hold on. A few weeks ago, I stood in the same river holding my daughter close. Man, I had planned to be calm, composed, and maybe even a little stoic. But the second I opened my mouth, I almost lost it. A moment from tears. Ooh, man. Snot and a full-blown ugly cry. I could barely speak the words. And somehow that made it even more holy. He's baptizing his daughter, y'all. In front of my family and friends, I baptized her in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let's go. She came up smiling and soaked in God's grace. That moment will live with me forever. Today, I stood at the river and nearly broke again. The water that once cradled my daughter in peace is now ripping through our community, flooding homes, uprooting lives, and leaving destruction in its wake. What once brought renewal now brings ruin. But scripture reminds us water has always held attention. It was the flood that swept the earth and the river where Jesus was baptized. It buried armies and parted for freedom. It can drown and it can deliver. Same water, different purpose. Same river, different season. Same God, still faithful. So even now, even here, I believe the waters will calm. And when they do, we'll show up for one another. We'll rebuild. We'll restore. Because I've seen what this river can do in a single moment of grace. And I believe I've only just begun to see what God can do through it. Bible verse, Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Wow. I was going to hit a button, but no. Amazing. Again, this post went viral. He's basically saying, y'all, this is how life goes. And it's on you how you want to maneuver through your circumstances. I mean, this guy right here is amazing, right? And it's so true. It's caused so much pain, this water, but not that long ago, it was refreshing, renewing somebody. Amen. So my party message with this before we get messy is that, Texans we're built Texas tough, and we care for our neighbors. We care for our people. Even some of us care for illegal aliens. We don't even care. Some people don't even care. They get help
What
too.
about? Yeah,
Hold on, sis. But I say this: Texas pulls together in situations like this, and I believe that this right here will help empower the citizens of this whole county, area, region. For this won't happen again, or it won't happen as bad, right? They can put in place better procedure. Be more alert and just be better prepared if possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to blame nobody here. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's helped. Anybody that someone said HEB earlier. I know HEB sending products. People are sending stuff. We're praying. I'm praying. Christy prayed. We're not just saying we're going to pray. We actually pray. And we just thank y'all and everybody that's gotten involved. We thank you. I'm sorry, some people like my content. They don't think I did enough. Some people say that I'm posting too much. You can never please the people. But you know what I'm saying? I am grateful that I'm alive. And this whole situation has really made me thankful for my family. I can't complain about the mosquitoes or the rain over here. They got a worse situation. So this has actually humbled me and my family. And our thoughts and prayers are with the citizens of this whole affected region. And before we get messy, Christy, go ahead.
No, I'm ready to be messy, and you call it messy, and I just call it being savage and being truthful about words. Words can't really hurt you, but words can hurt children and things like that. And some of the stuff that we have seen, is just I don't know if it's demonic. I don't know if people really have that much mental illness or what it is. But whenever we get into this, I'm probably going to get really mad. And I just want everybody to know that I'm not good at holding my tongue. And what needs to be said just is what needs to be said.
Okay, and we're here now. So right now, so this is what happens. All right, so if again, we did our public service announcement. I don't know if there's any other you got any other updates, sis, from the Texas Storm Chasers? Check out Texas Storm Chasers, y'all. Good page on Facebook.
No, the only thing that I saw was that there's more rain expected to come, and yeah, I haven't seen like anything really new. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into it. I've seen some of the craziest comments about all of this. I said it earlier that they're basically on Texas. These people have brought politics into this horrendous tragedy, and shame on them. I got a bunch of screenshots right here. This thing don't went viral. Everybody's sharing this one, but there's so much. These people are actually laughing and mocking us, talking just to drag Trump. People have died, and here they are, y'all, in the comments. I try to get them out of my threads here and there. They're pretty bad on X and everywhere else, but they're here, y'all, laughing. These are just, we're not getting to the doctor yet, Christy. These are people laughing. Disgusting people laughing, mocking Texas and Texans and innocent children for this whole flash flood situation. Shame on these freaking people. When I seen this, I made a post. I said, you know what? Watch with your own eyes. I got another post here where they're on the comment thread on this actual other post. I said, read the comments at your own discretion here. And these are some of the comments, y'all. These people right here, this is the normal thought process for a lot of leftists, okay? I'm going to be completely honest. Not all, but I'm going to say a lot. I've gotten so much blowback on most of my TikTok videos, thousands of comments. They can't stand me. They can't stand America. They can't stand Trump. They can't stand Christians. They can't stand enforcing the law. It's like an influx of evil people in the United States. They just want to just harp on us and just attack us. They try to dox me, insult me, threaten me. I got proof, pictures, everything. But the worst part is this is what they believe in, y'all. Innocent kids and victims, they're here shaming them and making fun of them. Christy, be honest. When you saw this, how did you feel about it?
I went into my darkness mode where I literally will pick somebody up by the hair and swing them like a helicopter. And I am not even kidding in the least little bit. Whenever we went through the hurricane.
We got more. Go ahead.
Yeah. Whenever I went through the hurricane, if you remember, people that we used to rock with before they threatened to pew our house up and all of that, wished that more hurricanes would come and take me out. I mean, people are so evil, and it put me into the mind. Whenever you're at a point that you feel like that you have, I'm just going to be 100% honest for it. I am. So my goal in life was just to make sure that my son graduated high school. I prayed for it every day. Dear Lord, please just let me live long enough to see my son graduate. Everybody knows that I've got a lot of health problems going on. People always laughed at my voice and things like that. Come to find out, I have 5 lesions on my throat that we're going to be getting checked out next week, but have a lot of health problems going on. And whenever you feel like you have done, I saw my son get baptized. I saw my son enlist in the Army. He leaves out on July 28th. He has his birthday on July 9th. He graduated in prom in May of this year. When you feel like you don't have anything to lose anymore, it puts you in a completely different mindset. Like, I will go and fuck things up for people. Like, in real life, I mean that. And I know it's not the Christian thing, but whenever you get to that point that you feel like you have nothing to lose anymore, that's where your mind goes when you read these comments.
I'm going to be honest. I've had it up to here with these people, sis. I have every fatigue you can have. minority fatigue, illegal fatigue, America
Okay.
hater fatigue. I have so much
Yep.
fatigue. I'm tired of these freaking people. Leftist
Yep.
fatigue, for real. Like, I'm gonna be honest. The insults and threats I get, I've seen Christy get all of us, the Trumpers. I've never went there and told any leftists none of this stuff. I hardly ever see Trumpers ever say this kind of stuff. But let me read to you this, and some people don't like this. Obviously, we see people talking about taking the higher road and let's be positive. I done told y'all we got a whole nother maneuver on our side. Let me read this to you.
Mhm.
I think some of us need to see this kind of stuff straight up. I hope it makes you mad. Someone said, "Ruha, Texas, what you gonna do? There's no FEMA to pick you up by your bootstrap. They gave it all to ICE." That's a lie. Texas deserves every flood. God has spoken, and it hates Texas. That was from Juka. Ron Flipkowski says the people in Texas voted for government services controlled by Donald Trump and Greg Abbott. This is exactly what they're getting. Wow. It's not awful. It's what Texas deserves. Cry harder. Texas deserves it. Samurai
Mm.
Barbie. Ursurp, the chef says, I'm kind of happy the National Weather Service gave incorrect predictions when it came to how much rain would fall. What? Oh, wow. Especially since the best and brightest from the org were let go due to Doge, Elon, and Trump. Texas deserves the flooding. Good. Mike says, I'm glad. Did it take Rogan with it now? Oh, damn. They want Rogan gone too. I can only hope. Texas deserves it. It's God's will, and of course they got the little G, sis. You know what kind of people they are. It's God, little G, God's will, of course. That's what God, little G, would have wanted, right? Republicans, ha 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 ha. My empathy for these redneck reject states is zero. So F them. I hope more to come. Let's start the hurricane. Oh damn, I didn't know about that one, sis. And there's another ones, but I'll leave it at that. That's the average mindset of the leftist libtards that don't like Texas or Trump or Christians or us or anything holy, let's be honest. That's what they think about us, y'all. And you know what? I'm glad I read that. You know why? Because I have other posts too where they're down batting us and down batting me or whatever, threatening. Somebody made a comment about a dog from Sandlot, and somebody went in there and calling her the C word, sis. I want y'all to know this. Once you have an opinion and you put it out online, especially online, you may become a target.
Yep.
You need to be careful and be observant of people like this. Now, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But this right here is showing you what's in their heart, ladies and gentlemen. These kind of comments are telling you how they really feel about us. Now, are they going to take it to another level in the physical instead of online? They act like that too. Let's be honest. But I'm just telling you, this is how they look at us. This is how they think about us. Okay, so
No,
I'm
and
glad I
you
read this,
know,
and I'm actually going to show you somebody else that's even worse because they have the public's health in their hands. Go ahead.
and so my thing is, it says that there were numerous parents waiting to hear anything about their child. They get online and they read this, that this should happen to an innocent child. What in the hell is wrong with people? Like, I don't understand. Like, I guess, I mean, we're living biblical times, is all I can say. I just have never seen anything like this. I could never wish Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, as much as I despise them, I would never wish death on them. I would never wish death on their kids. And it's just
Yeah.
a whole
Uh,
new form of evil.
Sis, I've only seen them do this. I've never seen none of us do this. And I ain't saying it because I'm a Trumper. Marcus says we have known this since the Rona days. Yeah, they really showed their asses on the Rona. They
Yeah.
showed their faces and true identity with the Rona. Now, this is the main one, y'all. Get ready for this one. Christina Props. This actually went very viral. I done seen people posting this on the Bluefish Pediatrics page. This woman actually made a Facebook post. Her Facebook is gone. Christy, have you found her? I can't find her. But
No, I couldn't find her.
this right here is very alarming. This woman, because this woman is supposedly a doctor. She works in Houston at Bluefish Pediatrics, and this woman right here said this. If I can get to it, well, I got it right here. It says, "May all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets." Damn, she threw the animals in there. "Be safe and dry." Only non-MAGA, y'all. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. Written by Christina Propst. working at
A
Bluefish
doctor.
Pediatrics, a doctor, and I have her information right here. We're making calls tomorrow. Yes, we believe in
Absolutely.
freedom of speech, but at the same time, that does not save you from the freedom of consequences from your said speech there. I'm actually glad she said this because it really made me realize and know and remember this is how they think about us, and also the fact that this lady has been identified. I hope nothing. She has not done this to anybody else or harmed anybody with her way of thinking. But that's what made me think, sis. We were asking in the comments, like, damn, has she acted on this? Has she
Oh, you know
hurt
she
somebody?
has.
I mean, let's be honest, sis. These people that are in these positions of power, especially a doctor, right? They have certain, how do I say it? They have responsibilities to the public. She violated her oath. There's an actual oath that she made being a doctor.
Hippocratic.
Yes. So I'm just wondering, and it's not too hard to think this, but if she doesn't like MAGA hatters and Trumpers and whatever, has she ever put that into practice, especially dealing with kids and even animals? I guess if you're a MAGA dog, if your owner has a MAGA hat and you're just a dog that poor dog wants some bone, you want some food and the water, they scratch the water bowl when they're thirsty, poor animal don't even know what's going on. But if you're a MAGA hat, if your owner's a MAGA hatter and you're a dog, you're out of luck by her standards. And even worse,
Yeah.
children. This is a doctor in Houston, Texas, y'all. This is how they think about us. Go ahead, sis.
You know that she is, a doctor that believes in gender misidentity. She, I'm sure, had a practice that only allowed the injection.
Mm.
She probably refused to see patients. A lot of that happened across the United States, that many doctors, if you didn't keep up with the original one and then all the ones that came behind it, then, they wouldn't see you anymore. I was blessed that I had a doctor that was like, I'm not taking it either. And,
Oh,
yeah. And as sick as I got in 2022, whenever I had that stroke and we talked about it on your thing, she told me, had I taken that I wouldn't be here right now. And so she was probably that kind of doctor to begin with.
I seen her,
A
sis.
very, yeah,
I seen her.
she is,
She had a mask on. She had them crazy eyes, and she had a
yeah,
freaking mask. I seen the post she made,
yeah,
and she was talking about the Rona. So,
yep,
look, and I made a post, right? I just said it from my heart. I said, man, if I was a doctor, I would never wish ill on any Democrats' children. And of course, as a human, who would, right? But I got to think like they think. And I said, I'm a truck driver, sis. Every car that I
mhm,
see on the road around me, I look at them the same. That's a human being with the family, right? I try to be
yeah,
very safe in my 18 wheeler and to help and be safe on the public highway
absolutely.
amongst civilians and family members and amongst people. And I don't look at them. So even if they got a Beto sticker or whatever, I might laugh, smirk or whatever. Not a big deal. But there's people like this, y'all. They work in the I would say the what is it the
Pediatric field.
yeah, thank you. You said a better word than me. Pediatric field that take oaths. They should not be
Yeah,
slanted like this. I'm glad she actually exposed herself, like I said. But like I said, I'm a trucker. And even if they got a Beto sticker, I'm not sitting there wishing nothing bad upon them. I might smirk, whatever. This woman actually went to Facebook like an idiot and made a post talking about, if you're MAGA, tough luck and good for you. Bring it on. She's just like them, y'all. She is just like those that we need to be aware of. This is freaking
she will find
sick.
out tomorrow.
Oh, we're calling
She will
tomorrow.
find.
Trust me, I got our information on the post. We're gonna
Yep.
call tomorrow, and we want to see what's happening. Now, Bluefish Pediatrics released a statement. They said they don't support or condone any statement that politicizes tragedy, diminishes human dignity, or falls to clearly uphold compassion for every child and family, regardless of background or beliefs. You should put there violating the oath that you're supposed to serve, correct? But the point is, they
Yep.
did make a statement. They turned off their comments on Facebook and on Instagram. We're all on their case. But I told them, because they updated their actual profile picture. I guess she was on the banner and they took it off. And I said, well, that's a good step. Plus this
She
statement.
ruined their practice. That's
Well,
exactly what she did.
I
She
said
ruined
this.
their practice.
Well, I said this. I said, I hope tomorrow you make the right decision with this woman's employment because we want to know, and we might even protest. We want to know what's going to happen with this woman because I'm going to be honest. I hate getting canceled or canceling people for saying what they're going to say, but this is kind of different, sis, because why? She's a doctor, okay? I'm going to be honest. I
And
wouldn't, hold on. I wouldn't want to get served by her. I'm gonna be honest. I go to the steakhouse, I go to a Mexican restaurant, I got a MAGA hat. I'm already leery doing that, right? Imagine they find out you're a Trumper and they're a doctor operating on you. I would not want her operating on me whatsoever. So at least if they don't fire her, which I hope they would do for public safety concerns, I would hope that at least this woman will be marked for we can be able to follow her and know where she's at. That way we don't go to her practice. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, she's ruined their practice, is what she's done with her slanted views. And yeah, I mean, would you ever want your child to go in there and see her
Hell
that
no.
has a sore throat, or that, I was called a tomboy my whole life. I lived on a farm. I fished, I dug up fishing worms, I hunted, I did all those things, and I was called a tomboy my whole life. They would now call me a person that was gender misidentified or whatever, because I like to fish, I like to hunt and things like that. I also like girly things. I love purses, I love perfume, I like all kinds of things. So yeah, she is definitely she's just definitely ruined their practice. Absolutely.
Again, y'all, I don't like canceling people. But I'm going to be honest. I think West Texas Patriots
I
said it.
do.
Oh, well, I'm going to be honest. You know what? We got to play like they play. I'm going
Yep.
to be honest. I ain't taking no high road. You know why? Because these people don't play fair. That's why we always freaking lose. I ain't playing the nice guy. Yes, I'm a Christian. I'm not going to do nothing illegal or bad to nobody. But at the same time, you want to play them games with us? I made this post, sis, and I put her picture on there. I put the actual statement she made and where she works at. Hey, there it is right there. Public information. She made it. You want to play these games with us? We're not here to play with nobody. We're tired of being stepped on. Just because I'm a Christian, right? It don't mean that I'm a spiritual or a financial doormat. You're not going to play with me or my family or my people. I'm going to stand up, okay? And again, like I said, y'all, this is public knowledge. It done went viral. It's freaking everywhere. And her Facebook's gone. The Instagram and Facebook comments on this actual page, Bluefish Pediatrics, they're disabled. They're getting flooded. Somebody said that you can do a Google review, and I will here in a minute on my phone and my wife's phone. We're pissed. This is the kind of people, y'all, that need to be made an example as far as them serving children, right? She's a child's doctor, and then
Yeah.
going and making a statement that she don't give a flip about not just the children, but also the animals of a MAGA hatter. Boy, don't even let her around your bulldog, Chihuahua, Shih Tzu. Don't even let her around your animals. What the
But
hell?
it's even worse than that. She is condoning the death of children of somebody that does not agree with the same political views that she does. How can you be a doctor and have those views? She is just disgusting. She doesn't want to treat any MAGA hatters kids. So could you imagine that if you took your daughter in and she started asking your daughter, what do you believe in?
Or,
Da 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 da. Yeah,
or sis, if they see your social media posts, they know you from the city,
right.
they live near
Yep.
you, they see your car bumper sticker. I mean, we don't even know this woman's in Houston. We don't even know what she's affiliated with her whole situation. Anyways, final words on this, sis, because I'm gonna move on to one more other thing. But again, y'all, if you're watching the live, we didn't want to get messy to the end. We told everybody earlier. We gave the updates. We gave the info. Kudos to all the first responders and all that people helping HEB and all the companies, mom and pop stores and all that. But we said we won't get messy. We're messy right now. We're freaking pissed. Final words on this, which sis. Go ahead.
So I just want to read like two comments from West Texas Patriot. Truly terrifying. Whoever I voted for now has an implication on my child's health. They
Wow.
want to scare us to the other side or into silence. Disgusting. Then West Texas Patriot said, if a MAGA doctor said the same for liberal parents and kids, they would be doxxed the next day and have the feds raiding the office.
Read Nick's
And it's
comment.
true.
Read Nick's comment. That's a good comment. Shout out Nick Diaz. That's the homie right there.
Imagine how they are going to be now that everything is coming out on how they really are as people. We need to be more aware, especially now. I absolutely agree.
Hell yeah.
I think, and I have said this a million times, I think that we are imploding from the inside out. I think that we're causing more destruction than any other country could do to us because they have us fighting each other, and that's
That
exactly what it is.
that's how civilizations fall. Usually from within. Here's Rosie O'Donnell, making her point, blaming Trump. We ain't waste no time on this sorry witch. But I want to go here though. This is where I want to go. Where's it at? Okay, here is the Bluefish Pediatrics. They changed their updated their cover. I guess she was in the actual cover. Hopefully they handle her correctly. And one more thing I want to do before I get out of here. This right here. I'm gonna say this real quick. Where's it at? Well, if I can find it, my bad. Okay, right
While
here.
you're doing
This is
that,
a post. Go ahead.
I'm just going to read Bobby's comment.
Shout out Bobby.
It says, at the core of liberalism is the spoiled child, miserable as all spoiled children are, unsatisfied, demanding,
Yeah.
ill-disciplined, despotic, and useless. Liberalism is a philosophy of sniveling brats. And you're absolutely right, Bobby.
Wendy has a good comment too, but I'll leave it at this. This is what I posted on my personal page, and I threw it on the Nino America page. I said it's pretty sick seeing Mexicans, America haters, and Mexican wannabes posting pics and proof of Mexicans going and helping people in Kerr County and the flooding catastrophe. There's many Americans doing the same of all colors. Really, I've seen more white people helping, and it's true. If you are posting this crap, unfriend me. And if you love Mexico so much, go live over there. This is a real tragedy. And here you are posting that some Mexicans are helping and they aren't getting recognition for it. Who cares? Oh, you do, you damn real R word. And it's the truth. I'm going to say this real quick before we end this live. I've seen it all over Facebook. And I don't even know if some of this stuff's true. They want to politicize the situation, right? And then say that people are helping that are from Mexico and why ain't they getting recognized? Who gives a flip? You do, right? They do. The haters do. But then I say this. I even saw somebody saying that Mexico's sending this down the third line like the last damn catastrophe just to prop up Mexico and these other countries, y'all. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not trying to politicize this whatsoever, but at the same time, I'm going to say the truth in what I see and what I deem is fit to say what the hell I want to say. And again, I see people doing it all over Facebook. That's why I make that post. You know what? If you love Mexico so much, go live over there. But here you are posting all this pro-Mexico stuff about them going and helping. I'm going to be honest, Christy. I see all colors helping, but primarily I see nothing but white people going and help. And that's just being completely honest. But there they are with their post, making it a racial issue, making it a political issue, saying that the Mexicans are going to help. Why don't they get no recognition? Who cares? Nobody really even cares, to be honest, except for the people that make everything a race issue. Final words, go ahead.
Yep. No, I just, my thing is this, and it's exactly what you stand for. And I talked about it a minute ago. Everything has to be community based.
Yep.
If it would not have been for the community, literally, we would have had people that would have had no water, no food, nothing for up to 13 days. So you live through 12 hours of the hurricane and literally watch a tornado like tear down your street, and you get out and you see everything is just pitch black. Like the town you live in that is lit up is now just pitch black. No gas station. Literally, the gas station we go to all the time, like literally the whole thing is leveled to the ground. And if those people from the community would not have come out and got us the water and all of that, the point that I was making earlier about money not mattering, money will matter later, but money in the beginning is not what anybody needs, because there's no place to get the needs that you need, which is water and food. Money's worthless, so you have to count on your community, and money comes later. And all I can say is don't think that FEMA or just don't think that FEMA is going to help. I think Donald Trump will get an organization of somebody together to help, but I don't think it'll be FEMA.
Yeah, and that's just from experience. It ain't from Chrissy having a political slant. She lived through a catastrophe herself, and FEMA was of no help or use themselves. And I don't have no faith in any government really entity at this point, y'all. But there it is. Go ahead.
I just want to say this real quick. So I'm going to make just a really quick story. So we were hit with that level 4 hurricane. And the county over from us, we got all the wind, they got all the water. Literally, my coworker's house was like literally 3 walls standing up. There was nothing else, not a shoe, not a refrigerator, not a microwave, nothing, all washed away. And here's the problem that I've had with FEMA. So Biden and George and DeSantis stood and looked at the camera and promised that no Floridian would be forgotten. People still to this day have tarps on their roofs.
Wow.
Yeah. And you're talking 3 years later. We're in our 3rd hurricane season since then. But let me tell you what bothered me the most is my coworker, who was a registered nurse, they got from their insurance company full payoff and more for their house. They got what their house appraised for at that time. But then on top of that, she showed me that FEMA had cut her a check, her and her husband, for $108,000. People that had private insurance were not supposed to be able to get assistance from FEMA. And so she ended up getting paid twice, while some people didn't even get the $750 living allowance. I'm telling you, it's a mess. I personally saw that check, $108,000.
And Marcus has a good point. Somebody made that on Facebook too. FEMA wasn't helping anyone with Trump flags. Remember that? That came out. They were saying avoid those houses. And that's what I'm saying. Even with the doctors, y'all, I think at this point, they should be put on blast. I think taking the high road and trying not to talk about this, and hell no, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna freaking talk about it. My bad, y'all know about y'all to cuss there, but I'm gonna talk about this stuff because we need to know if FEMA or doctors or whoever's not gonna help us because we're Trumpers or we're Christians or whatever we are, right? Like, this is pretty crazy. They need to be put on blast. They need to be exposed. That way, I mean, it's sad to say though, right? That in this day and age, because of who you voted for, I guess it's probably been going on for a long time, but it's just ramped up lately. But in this day and age, the person you voted for will dictate what kind of help, what kind of health service you'll get, government service if needed. That's very alarming. And again, I've only seen this, y'all, with leftists. I've never seen, I got to really think about it because I don't want to just put a blanket statement, but I can't really think of anybody I've ever seen, a Trump or a Christian, threatening someone the way that we get threatened, y'all. I'm being completely honest. Now, I ain't gonna lie, some of the MAGA patriots we know, boy, they don't give a flip. They let it rip. But the way that these people do us, from making posts, making threats online, and, trying to dox us even, it is crazy. That's why, you know what? Ain't no high road. No, we're gonna push back, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
And they started hating us more whenever we talked about children being protected and how we were against SPM. And you talk about threats coming in. Whoa.
We're used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I'm not worried about it.
Yep. And with that, y'all, we just want to do this quick live. Sorry it ain't the best. We're trying to update as good as we can. Christ is Lord. Thank you for everybody's been involved in this whole situation with, Kerr County, all the counties affected. I think that the response was good. Trump did good. Abbott did good. Texans are doing great. HEB, shout out the Full Moon Inn of Jenny McComb, all the patriots that are going out there and helping. God bless you in the name of Jesus. And you know what? Kerrville will rebuild. Texas is Texas strong for a reason, and that's all there is to it, y'all. Let this actually help grow your faith and make you stronger in God, because without God, we have nothing. And it's simple and plain. With that, y'all, we're out here. Chrissy,
I got one more thing. I got one more thing. So I want to read this from Bobby again. It says that Lisa made a call to her boss, and the person that takes care of it's going to load a U-Haul full of dry goods, toilet papers, diapers, tampons, water, so on and so forth, and bring it there. She made one phone call, and the company said, "Don't try to raise money. We'll just pay for it." That is so awesome. And then he also said, HEB had 13 tractor-trailer trucks full of food that they brought there. That is so awesome.
God bless HEB. I love that place. Anyways, with that, y'all, thank you for watching. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and Bobby said that if anybody wants to go there tomorrow with chainsaws in the morning, he's going to go, and to let him know.
All right. Shout out my buddy Bobby out here in West Texas. With that, y'all, Christ is Lord, and we're out of here. Thank y'all for watching. God bless you.